Hi, welcome to the Legally Blind Geek YouTube channel. My name is Mike. On this channel, I focus on overcoming low vision challenges. Today, we're going to discuss the reasons why it's a good idea to upgrade from the old phones that are no longer supported by iOS 16 to the new 14 Pro Max that is. Is it a good idea too? Absolutely. Watch this and find out why. This is my new 14 Pro Max iPhone. So let's just kind of take this little tour of the box here, spin it around, and looking at the different edges and information on the back of it. And we have these little pull tabs here. I haven't opened it up yet, but I loosened these up so that it would be easier for a visually impaired person to pull those off. Tactile feedback here. There's a little tab. And let's open this guy up. All right. First thing in the box is this nice new purple color. What else is in the box? I'll just dump it out here. And there's a protective coating on it. We'll leave that on for just a minute, set this aside. And we've got the information packet here with all the different instructions, and I'm sure there's a little decal in there somewhere. Set that aside. Then there's the charging cable, the USB-C to Lightning cable, which we'll put that to use here in a minute. No charging adapter came in the box. Right now, let's kind of get this stuff out of the way. And see about taking this off. So this is what it looked like straight out of the box. And the much talked about camera bump, the Apple. What do you think about the purple color? It's a new color this year. I thought I'd give it a whirl. Setting up a new iPhone. This is the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and it is in the OtterBox Symmetry Plus case. Supposedly better drop protection and stuff like that. We want to protect these expensive guys, especially the cameras on the back and stuff. And I don't have any of the lens protectors on there, but just what the OtterBox does cover. You know, and on the side of it, I did notice that the side button is on the tin. It seemed like it was up here. My old phone that I'm using to record this video on seems like the side button was a little bit further up here, so it's harder to reach. So they've kind of moved that down, makes it a little bit simpler to get to. And you know, the still the good old
12:06 p.m.
I had to touch the screen, didn't I? Still the good old Lightning port, 2 speakers.
p.m.
And the sensitivity on these things is really, really good. I mean, you just barely touch it.
12:06 p.m.
And it sounds off. You know, on top, there's nothing up here that I can see. We got your mute button, volume up, volume down, and everything seems to work like you would expect it to on the iPhone. So I have noticed quite by accident, if you push the side button and the top volume button at the same time, you will take a screenshot. So let's go ahead and open this thing up and get a look for what we're looking at here.
12:07 p.m. Settings.
So that works pretty much the same as always. And I use the Face ID primarily because it makes it simpler for me. And that's what smart devices are supposed to be, right? Something safe, reliable, and easy to use. So I'm going to go in here and
General button. Control center. Display brightness. Display home screen button. Accessibility button.
go into accessibility,
Vision heading.
then vision.
Voiceover on. Voiceover on.
And a lot of this stuff is the same.
Voiceover speaks item. Tap once to double tap to learn more. Voiceover prep. Speaking rate. Speaking rate. Speech. Braille button. Speech. Speaking rate. 68. Adjustable.
Now, one of the things that I did notice when I was setting this up, and it may just be me or it may be things have changed a bit, but if I try to change the speaking rate,
Voiceover practice button.
where'd it go?
Speaking rate 68. Adjustable.
It says it's adjustable, right? So let's see.
78. 88. 98. 100. 100. 90. 80. 70. 60. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
I don't hear it making any difference.
20. 30.
Do I have to select it or something?
Speaking rate 30. Adjustable. Tap once to select an item. Speaking rate 40. 50. 60.
Doesn't really seem to make any difference, does it? Maybe that's something in the software. Not quite sure, but it's not working.
Speech button. Voice Agnes button. Voice Agnes but pronunciations button. Voice Agnes button. Selected English US. Selected Agnes button.
Yeah, maybe I don't like Agnes.
Alex but Ava Bruce Eloquent Evan Fred Joel Jr. Kathy but Nathan Nikki but Noel Ralph Samantha button.
See, I like Samantha myself.
English us heading. Samantha enhanced using 167.3 MB. Actions of it selected. Samantha enhanced using 167.3 MB. English back button. English selected. Samantha enhanced speech back button. Speech voice pitch change on.
I'm going to keep pitch change on. I enjoy that.
Detect languages off.
I got myself into trouble like that once before I set that up. I picked a nice, voice for Spanish and another female voice for French, and then I picked another one for German. And the rotor, while the phone would be in my pocket, somehow or another the rotor would get activated or whatever, and it would select a different voice. So every time I would go to pull my phone out of my pocket and listen to a text message or something, it would be speaking to me in a language that I'm not really fluent in and don't understand well enough to be able to communicate in. Kind of fun to play around with, but not fun to try to activate your phone and it's speaking to you in French when you don't understand French, or speaking to you in German when you don't understand German. You don't want it speaking in one language and then trying to figure out how to ask it to translate that into English, right? So
Voiceover will always speak with the current voice. Rotor languages. Add new language. Button. Voiceover will always speak with the current voice. Voiceover will rotor languages. Heading.
And that's what got me in trouble, setting up different rotor languages. So let's kind of avoid that if we can.
Rotor languages. Voiceover. Back button. Voiceover. Speech. Button.
So having selected our voice and all that good stuff.
Braille. But voiceover verbosity. Audio. Verbosity. Voiceover recognition. Button. Using on device intelligence. Your iPhone will using on device image descriptions. Your iPhone will speak to screen recognition. Your iPhone will automatic text recognition on.
Now see, all this stuff kind of migrated over when I set up the phone. I went through the beginning stages where you select the language and the region and all that good stuff. Then when it came to setting up the iPhone, I just selected the option to set up via iCloud backup. And before I started the procedure, I made sure that I went in and I backed up my old phone, which is the 10s Max, to iCloud, and then gave it an hour or so for all that to kind of take effect. And then I just set this phone up using the 10s Max, set them side by side, do all that good stuff, and all that stuff transferred over. So I'm just kind of checking to make sure that basic functions are as they should be, and looking to see if there are any new and exciting things that would benefit visually impaired or legally blind person. Use the phone to get all the use out of it that I can. I use my phones for recording videos. Like right now, the 10s Max is right up here. It's what's recording this, and it seems to be working fairly well. And one of the things that is kind of nice about these devices, especially if you're running the latest version of iOS 16, I think it started with 16 or maybe 16.1, the connectivity between your devices has gotten a lot better. For instance, right now, I am using my 10s Max as a webcam recording to QuickTime on my Mac. And I will take those files from QuickTime and move those over to my editor and never have to mess with the camera, never have to mess with a SD card or any of those kinds of things. It basically just records straight from the phone camera through whatever magic Apple uses, records it into QuickTime all at one time. Value added for me. The understanding that you have to have iOS 16 on your phone, and you need to have at least the Mac operating system Ventura 13, and I believe now the latest at the time of this recording version is 13.0.1. I updated this Mac to that yesterday, I believe it was. But that interconnectivity is why we upgrade. That's why we use these devices. Anyway, for me, that's why I'm using them.
Your iPhone will speak descriptions of text, feedback style. Output options for voiceover. Output option, feedback style. Do nothing. Voiceover. Back button. Voiceover. Voiceover recognition. Button. Verbosity. But audio. But commands. But activities. Rotor. But rotor actions. Typing. But quick settings. Quick settings allows you navigation stop. Navigate images. Large cursor. Caption panel. Double tap timeout. Double tap timeout. Button. Accessibility. Back button. Accessibility. Voiceover. On. Button.
So a lot of these things have remained the same. But when we get older and the eyes aren't quite as crystal clear as they once were, we need to, help ourselves out. And with accessibilities, go into vision, scroll down, select the best text size. Another important feature on iOS devices is the voice assistant known as Siri.
Listen for Hey Siri. On. Press side button for Siri. On. Allow Siri when locked. On. Language. English. United States. Button. Siri voice. American. Voice 5. Button. Variety. Heading.
And there's a whole wide range of voices that you can choose for Siri if you wanted to.
Selected. American. Australian. British. Indian. Irish. South African. Voice. Heading. Voice 1. Voice 2. Voice 3. Voice 4. Selected. Voice 5.
I wonder what voice 4 is.
Voice 2. Voice 3. Voice 4. Voice 4.
Hi, I'm Siri. Choose the voice you'd like me to use.
I wonder what 3 is.
Voice 3. Voice
Hi,
3.
I'm Siri. Choose the voice you'd like me to use.
Voice 2. Voice 2.
Hi, I'm Siri. Choose the voice you'd like me to use.
Voice 1. Voice 1.
Hi, I'm Siri. Choose the voice you'd like me to use.
Voice 4. Voice 4.
Hi, I'm Siri. Choose the voice you'd like me to use.
Sometimes I like that higher pitched sound. We'll just leave it there for now. Well, that pretty much covers the first look. Taking it out of the box, setting it up for a visually impaired person. I got to ask you, what do you think? Are you impressed with the new iPhone. The advantages with the new operating system are plenty, especially for those like myself. I really appreciate, and I'd like to hear what you like most from the updates on the operating systems and the capabilities of the phone. For me, this was the first video that I've used the compatibility feature, or whatever you want to call it. I'm using my XS Max as a replacement for the webcam on my iMac, recording straight into QuickTime, and I'm using the Rode Wireless Go as the audio recording. What do you think about it? Does it look good? Does it sound good? You notice any difference? For me, I think it's pretty cool that I no longer have to use, some app like, one of those that just recently went to a subscription base, where I can see my screen on my iPad through the use of a third-party app. With this, it's all in the Apple ecosystem. It works with the Mac, it works with several supported phones. Maybe that's not your thing. What is your thing? How about Siri, or what about VoiceOver? What do you think that Apple could do to improve it, or you think it's as good as it could get? Personally, I found it a little bit concerning that when we went through setting it up, speaking rate wasn't adjusting. It wouldn't speed up or slow down, and still to this day, it's not. For me, it's a comfortable level. When I set it up using my iCloud backup, it set it the way I had everything set up on the 10, so it works good for me, but maybe it's a bug. Maybe they'll fix it somewhere down the road. Anyway, hope you've gotten some good information here. I'd like to hear from you. Let me know what you decide. You're going to stick with what you've got? You're going to upgrade? It's all good. Again, consider subscribing. Give us a like. Give us a thumbs up button. Post your comments in the comment section down below. Catch you in the next one. Make it a great day. Bye. Oh, remember, it requires a lot of work to overcome low vision challenges, but it's worth it in the end. Thanks again. Make it a great day. Bye.